Okay, so this is a trade I've been getting questions about that I have traded and I've been speaking about for a while. So it's not something that like is out of the blue. I think I've been talking about this since like October last year, and it's I wouldn't say my most famous trade by far, but I'm just saying that it's a one of my greatest trades that I've been sharing recently and high conviction, etc. And I kind of want to break down the reason why, because it's a question I got I think two times on Twitter and one time on Telegram of like how did you play this, or how not even like technically how did I play it, like where I take profit, etc. But more like where or why did you have confidence in this trade, because the chart doesn't really scream that. So we'll just simply break it down in the two sections. And the two sections are going to be technical and fundamental, right? So I think a lot of, because this was more like an investment slash trade play, swing trade for a few months, that yeah, so it's not quite like a intraday boom, made a few thousand, but it's more like, hey, I made so many thousands over, you know what I mean, a certain space and time. So if we go, we can replay it, but we can also just, we probably will just replay it here. So essentially, what I was looking at, excuse me, was in October. I started looking at this very actively. Um, so we're somewhere in October. So how I saw it was essentially the high of the range at this point, low of the range, and kind of wanted to see some type of strength, middle of the range somewhere over here. And this is where I started accumulating, because at this point, I think a lot of it was fundamental plus this technical aspect, which I call shiny coins, essentially, right? So anything that is new on the market, and that's kind of the market shift we've had now, where I think in the previous bull market and around that time period, it was things that had a narrative built in the past, right? So something that people were like, oh, I remember what this is, right? And that's why they were pumping these things. Well, now we've shifted to this environment where anything that's new gets a big pump. And you can think about all the different coins that have done this. Think about Bonk, think about even less meme things like Celestia, etc., that have done crazy numbers. And a lot of it was because they were new. They were something new to grab onto rather than some old fossilized project, even if they're good, like Atom, Cosmos, which is a great project, but it's simply old, right? And people are more gravitating towards new things, and you can see the same thing. The first hint of that was Aptos. Aptos was something new, and it didn't do much for a bit, and suddenly had this insane rally. And I think that's where the sentiment was starting to being built of like, hey, new shiny things is where it's at. So okay, this is where I started accumulating my position from like 6 October, I think. So this is kind of where I start buying spot relatively heavily. And at this point, I'm just looking for these highs to get taken and to put in a new nice high. And of course, these drawings are hindsight drawings because they were drawn once that price reached that. But I think this range high and range low were already drawn at this point. So I've built a decent position up here, and I think I'm still building up here. And now we retested those highs. And I'm just really looking for, of course, a flip of these highs into new all-time highs. That's what I'm looking for. So we're seeing a lot of volatility here. And this is where I start, like, I've built a nice position during this entire period. And I start thinking, okay, we're going to see all-time highs here with this volatility coming in. Yeah, we've properly flipped it. I think I built a bit more of a position right here. So in these candles, I was thinking, okay, this looks way too fucking good to not be building an even greater position, because we flipped this level, which is what I was looking for. And additionally, we're seeing this tight consolidation where price is hovering above it, but it doesn't want to break down below back into the range, but it's also not ripping, which gives you the perfect opportunity to load up at this level with a tight invalidation right under. Like if we start seeing something like this, essentially this part where you flip under it and you start seeing it as resistance again. So, and I think this is right here. So when Sam Altman news came out about him being fired and stuff, so I took some profits. I tried to get as close as possible to like this high here at 5.3, and I know I was 4.9, I think was my main profit. Maybe it wasn't, but it was somewhere up here. It was somewhere right here, I believe. I took quite a bit off, and I just started offloading, I think 50 to 60% of my position during this phase. and we saw this crazy drop. And this is where I start reaccumulating what I sold up here and more. And the reason is, for me, essentially technically seen, so technical analysis speaking, it's a retest of the all-time high ICO price, right? So this is the all-time high ICO price. Then we flipped it here. We broke through it, put in a new high, but essentially consolidated above it, ripped, and now we're just retesting those highs, both this consolidation and this ICO high. So I start accumulating here. Now, what's interesting about this is we see a breakdown below. And I think this is where a lot of people started being like, oh, it's not a clean chart. It's not a great chart, because rather than us consolidating on top of this consolidation and on top of this level, we're kind of consolidating for a bit under. And I think this is where a lot of people lost confidence in it and thinking, okay, well, this is just it's gonna break down, right? So it's facing this as resistance rather than as support. And for me, technical analysis is never going to be perfect. And I think the less perfect charts are actually going to be greater opportunities, because less people are going to be looking at it. They're going to be, well, it's not as clean as, say, Blur is right now, or name some chart that's really clean, like Celestia, right? It's not as clean, so why would I look at this chart instead? And for me, it's very much, especially with the fundamentals that I'm about to get into, it's a very, regardless of exactly how a chart looks, it's still a great chart, and it's still retesting those highs, and it's not breaking down below them exponentially, so to speak. So that's why I was accumulating a lot more up here, and before we knew it, I took nice profits along the way. I'm not gonna lie. I took some at this order block and this range high again. So I think I took 25% off here. Then once we broke these highs, somewhere above 5, maybe that was where I took 4.9. Maybe it was more recent. I took some off when we broke these highs, and then I took some off at 6.5. I think 5.5, 6.5. And then when other people in my group chats and friends started getting excited, I took a little bit more here. This was probably my highest point, around right above 7, I think. And this is kind of where I took a lot of profits, and now I'm still in this position with, I think, 25%, 10. So what is that? Okay, so 30% of the position I'm still in right now, looking for even higher highs if possible. And if not, then we're going to be looking for some type of reaccumulation at either of these levels, right? Amazing chart, amazing play, very profitable, very grateful for the environment we're in and having been able to be in this trade. Technically, very beautiful chart. But now let's get into some of the fundamentals. And I think this kind of perfectly links with this article I recently wrote, which is trading or investment hypotheses within crypto. So you can check that out down below. I'll put the link down below. And it essentially states that within investing, and I would just highly recommend reading this article, because you're going to get a lot more of the gist of it from that. It's essentially with any investment in crypto, you want a concrete hypothesis of what you're actually looking for and why you're looking for it. So there's always going to be numerous reasons why you think this is like a great investment. And I'll just write it down, hypotheses. We'll just hypothesis, because it's not plural right now. We'll just make this big. And we'll go over the different points. So first of all, with this one, is obviously Sam Altman, right? ChatGPT, OpenAI, we all know him. Direct relation to AI. AI is obviously hype. Worldcoin actually has nothing or very little to do with AI. But despite this, the name of Sam Altman and the hype around this guy is a great reason to be closely looking at this. And for me, this pump, when he got fired off of OpenAI, my thesis was already like, okay, look, this is perfect, right? Because we can see that people are getting extremely excited about the fact that he got fired, because then Worldcoin will be his main focus. And then a great mind like that, whether I think he's a great mind or not, or you think he's a great mind or not, is kind of irrelevant here, because other people think he is, right? That's more of what we're playing here. And having him focused on this project would have been such a great move, right? Would have been so great for the project's growth. So that's why I was like, okay, so we have this guy where the main thing holding it back is it's not his main focus. Well, simply, I don't give a fuck, because he's still the mastermind behind it. So that was one of the reasons. So you have this correlation between AI, Sam Altman, the hype of OpenAI, and direct exposure to his workings, right? Which with OpenAI, a lot of people don't. It's not open. You can't invest in stock for OpenAI, etc. That, hey, why not play this as a Sam Altman play? So that's one reason that I had. there's probably the main one, and it's okay to have like a one if you have a hypothesis and it's just one fucking great idea, right? Which is just like the Sam Altman would have been enough theoretically, but I had more reasons. Worldcoin itself, it's a new, unexplored idea. So essentially, it isn't quite this thing that like everyone is doing, like a layer two or you know, like an arbitrum where like you have so many arbitrums essentially, right? So what's the point of another one? Not that they can't be better or can't still be great for the network and for the growth of crypto, but it's not something that everyone is doing, right? Digital IDs, etc. So I like that idea of like just not even I don't like digital ideas. I don't like anything of that, like not ideas, digital IDs, but that simple idea of WorldCoin was new, and that for me was enough to be like, okay, well, it's a unique thing that no one has particularly explored. Kind of in addition to this, you have the newness of the idea, but you also have, give me 1 second. I just had it. I'm losing my train of thought right now, thinking about something else. There's more fundamental reasons here, so we're just gonna give me a second. So Sam Altman, AI, it's a new idea. We definitely had this one. This one was great, I think. Market cap. So if we go to coin market cap world wild, do we have it here? We'll just go coin market cap, Worldcoin, boom. Essentially, we go over here, market cap, we go 1 year, back to October. Market cap of 100, 200 million. In a bull market, the fucking silliest projects will reach 1 billion plus. So for me, that was a big reason with the narratives already kind of spoken about here, Sam Altman, WorldCoin, etc., that a $200 million market cap is going to be very, very easy to reach and maintain, while a billion is kind of the bare minimum that I would expect, right? So at that point, I was like, okay, a billion market cap is definitely reachable for this project. So that's a 5x, right? While I was down here. So now you can see from down here, we are indeed up about 5x. Well, we were 5x up here. So that is another part of the reason that for me, I was extremely bullish on this project. So I think these are the main 3 reasons. I had a few more, but I think this kind of covers the idea, and the entire article will cover how to actually think about these things and how to put yourself in the position where you can actually build these hypotheses about any investment you're in crypto, especially long term. I don't think trades matter as much as like big investment spot positions and how to work with those. But that's essentially the WorldCoin trade on 2 different levels. So that's technical and fundamental, which I look at especially while investing. So yeah, that's it. That's the breakdown of everything. If you want to trade WorldCoin, you want to trade in general, then go to the link down below. I have Bybit and WooX for different people. If you can't trade on Bybit, then WooX is your way. Both great exchanges, both partners of mine. You're going to get % off on all fees while you're trading. I'm going to cut % off the fees you use. So that also really helps me and supports me in everything I'm working on here at Boomish, and kind of helps me grow, which would be amazing. And I would be eternally thankful for that. Additionally, again, check the article. The Telegram is below, where I essentially gave everyone a Telegram this exact trade, this exact investment since October. So if you were in this with me, then congratulations. If you weren't, keep an eye on the Telegram. It's gold in there, even though I save myself. I try to share as much as I can amidst everything else I'm working on. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys kind of got something here.